What's up, everybody? So we're back out in the shop with another shop talk day. It's not Tuesday. It is what it is. We're going to work on a project. Now, of course, this isn't the dragon scale spine project, which you could tell from the thumbnail, but partly because I'm still trying to figure out some of the steps in that build to be able to do it the way that I want it to happen, I guess you could say. So I am just kind of working on that in the background and filming it, and then I'll put out an episode whenever we get to a point to where I actually have an episode to put together. So yeah, we're going to work on this guy right here. Now this, of course, is what we forged on this last weekend's live stream. It's just a little, what do we call it? We called it a drop point ringtail camp knife. Drop point ringtail camp knife. So that's what everybody was naming it in the comment section. Now, of course, if you didn't watch that live stream, this is how it looked after the forging process was done. Nothing else has touched this yet. So the full profile of the handle, the ring, tail, everything, that is all forged. So our bevels are forged in, the taper to the tip, all that stuff is all hammer and anvil. Everything that you see here, all the contouring, all of that stuff was just hammer and anvil. And the difference between making a ring knife like this and the way that I typically make them, typically I can take and hold them as I modify them and change them and adjust them. I had to do all of the sizing for this, for the ergonomics, by eye. I couldn't just go, okay, cool, just grab it, pick it up, and go, oh, the contours work on that, because I would have absolutely burnt my hand. So I'm real happy that this is how this turned out. So the way it actually fits your fingers there, the ring, all of that is really comfortable. If you flip it around, again, fingers in, you can use your index finger through there. It's big enough for that. Fits my hand perfectly. I'm just really, really, really happy that I was able to get the dimensions and everything right on this just by eye, because I really didn't get to hold it and test the ergonomics as we were forging it. So I'm happy about that. Now, what do we need to do in this episode? Well, we need to get this thing to however it looked in the thumbnail. I don't know what that's going to be. I'm going to work on it for the next couple of days, and we are just going to see where that goes. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get after this little project. Let's get it. So now we're just going to take a little Scotch-Brite pad with some CLP, that stands for Coat, Lubricate, and Protect, just an oil. And we're going to go through and we're going to hit all the surfaces with the Scotch-Brite pad. It'll smooth out any rough textures that were left from the wire wheel and help clean off the last little remaining forge scale. You want to hit all the surfaces with this. Inside that ring where the wire wheel couldn't really hit, all of them. And that is what we're left with. Nice clean finish all the way around. Now you can really see how we got our cutting edge forged in. That transition from the width of here up into that heel right there. Our bevels, and then there is a plunge forged in transition right here on both sides. So all I really need to do with this particular project is just clean up that edge just a little bit to make sure it is perfectly smooth, and then put an edge on this. I don't need to go in and grind any bevels. It's a very simple project. The hard part was the forging of the project. That is the part that takes the most time. After you get done doing that, I mean, you pretty much just go through and put an edge on it after you clean it all up. And it is comfortable in the hand. Don't really need to do anything else to it. And I mean, it's an awesome little fidget toy. Flipping it around, doing all that. Like, I really enjoy it. And it is really comfortable. There's no like hot spots inside here. I was worried that I was gonna have to actually pin this piece down in order for it to not pinch you or anything like that, but because it is so low profile and I brought it so far over, your finger just sits right on top of it. There is no weird spot there. The ring doesn't really move. Like, that is just absolutely awesome. And I mean, I've been messing with it for a while and there's nothing there. So if I wanted to, I could just not put a pin in there. And I'm still debating on it, because if I put a pin in there, I'm gonna have to do a really small one. But I really don't think that it's necessary for what we're going to be doing here, because I am going to heat treat the whole entire blade and then temper it all back. So this whole ring is going to be heat treated, but I am going to temper this back and it should be fine from there. And then I'm probably going to cold blue just this ring. But we're going to see how that goes. But yeah, I think that's looking absolutely awesome. Let's go ahead, clean up the edge, and then start thinking about whether we're going to drill a hole and put a pin in there, or if we're just going to heat treat this thing. See what happens. I decided to go ahead and put a pin in it and pin it over. So we're going to set this for drilling that hole. Got our little pin set up right there. This is actually a wire coat hanger. I'm going to get it set down into place with this ball peen, and then I'm going to fine tune it with this and try it out. So this little guy is my little two bastards. Little ball peen, tiny little ball peen for doing pins. And we're just going to go through and dome this pin with this. And there you go. That is now stuck there forever. So we're going to go ahead and start our heat treating process. And during this, we're going to bring it up to 1600 degrees for our normalizing cycle and then let it cool outside of the forge. And then we're going to do 2 grain refinement cycles where we bring it up to 1500 degrees and let it cool outside the forge, and then bring it up to 1400 degrees and let it cool outside the forge. And then for the quenching process, we're going to bring it up to 1500 to 1525 degrees, and then we're going to quench it in 120 degree peanut oil. And that should get us just where we need to be. So once we file through the decarb layer with the regular file, we can take our 65 HRC file, it's not grabbing at all, so we know that we're hard enough on our edge. Now we want to go ahead and toss it in the oven. I'm going to go ahead and temper this at 350 degrees for 2 hours times 2, and go ahead and call it there. Okay, so I sat down and just fiddled with it for a little bit to figure out exactly how I wanted to end this. And the way that I figured out, of course, we will take and lay this piece down right here. And then we're going to wrap over it. I've got the other piece that we did for the front through here. I cut it off to where it's actually ends about where this is right now. But we're going to take, hold that tight over there, make sure that this stays straight, continue to wrap it, keep this straight. And make sure you give yourself enough excess to be able to do this and loop over itself. Okay. And you want to pull this, get past all the little twisted up area where it's kind of rotated onto itself. I'm going to untwist that. There. Keep it tight. Pull it tight. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this excess off here. Push everything forward. And as I push it forward, it's going up on a little swell, so it's going to get even tighter. And the trick here, just a little dab of glue there, a little dab of glue there. There's some nice super glue. And that's going to dry into those little sections right there and make sure that that doesn't end up unwrapping on itself. So we'll let that sit and hang out for about 15 minutes. We'll take it out, put an edge on it. So now that we have the handle wrapped, we can go ahead and toss an edge on this. We're just going to use a 120 grit belt to just get the edge to where it at least has a little secondary bevel on here. And then we're going to go over to the 1x30 and finalize it. Because the bevels are already forged and we went down pretty thin, we don't really need to grind bevels into this. All we got to do is just get a little bevel on here going to the cutting edge. Yep, it'll cut. Now, I think that for just a little, kind of like a neck knife type deal that fits right here, do a little sheath for a little neck knife or do a little cross draw sheath. I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to do it, but I think for a little knife that would work with one of those, this worked out real well. The ring is nice and smooth. The cool thing is, I didn't have to do like any work to the inside of that. That is purely from the forging process. And it is like, there's no hot spot. Whenever you spin it or do anything like that, it's just super smooth and super like easy on your finger, I guess you could say. But I like the way that flows into the wrap that we have here. And then of course the blade, with the only thing that is, you know, has been touched by a grinder at all is just the cutting edge on this. And it's looking good. It's nice and clean. Now, I was on the fence behind doing the wrap or just leaving it with the peened in little tab that's down here. But someone had suggested wrapping that as the actual thing that held that into place. I was on the fence about it, so I went ahead and pinned it, and then I started thinking about it with maybe the wrap actually looking pretty cool, and I think that the wrap adds just a little extra something to the build. So I actually like the color contrast of the wrap, and it gives you just a little extra thickness around the handle area. Like, that is just super comfortable. And just for a nice simple blade to open boxes or do whatever you got to do with it, that is just super simple, super chill. Now if you did have to use this as a defense blade, it would work real well for that with the size of it, not being too clunky or big or anything like that. But it is just a good, comfortable EDC, and I'm going to use it for that. But I think it turned out real cool. I like the forged texture all the way down the spine and around the back side of the ring. But this all comes down to what y'all think about it. Do y'all think that I made the right decisions on these? Do y'all think that that's the way that I should have went? Y'all let me know in the comment section down below. Guys, thank y'all for coming by. Thank y'all for watching the video, of course, commenting on it and participating in the live streams and stuff like that. But that's the end of this one. So if you would, give the video a thumbs up. Y'all have an amazing day. Y'all stay safe out there. And I will catch y'all on Saturday for a live stream. See y'all.